in Iceland. Finally about to make it to my hotel. It's cold, but it's not terrible. It's pretty though. All right, I've made it to my room at Center Hotels Plaza. This is the bathroom. It looks pretty clean. Bed. TV, desk, mini fridge. And I have a view of like a courtyard. And that's pretty much it for the room. Alright, so I'm back out here in these Icelandic streets. Hope y'all can hear me okay. I'm about to go to the store and get some fruit, hopefully, and see what they got. So I'll let y'all know. All right, so I'm back from the store that's like 2 steps away from my hotel. I did get a few items. Now I spent $97. When y'all see what I got for $97, y'all are going to trip. I thought it was going to be way cheaper than that, but I probably won't have to buy any more food at least until almost the last day, hopefully. So yeah, I'm about to turn it around and show y'all the food. All right, so to start, I got a lot of water so I can stay hydrated. And then I got grapes, which I probably will eat one of those per day that I'm here. And then I bought 3 bunches of bananas. And they are super ripe. Like this one came off. That's how ripe it is. So I probably won't need any more of those either. And then I got some lemons. I got some garlic for my dressing that I need to make. And the oranges and the apples were free. I got these from the hotel that I stayed at in Boston from the Continental Breakfast. So I went down there, got those. I thought I was going to have to eat them at the airport, but I was able to get some bananas at the airport and ate those. And then I had a wrap from Cecili's. I had a leftover half of a wrap from Cecili's, so I ate that on the plane. So this is my grocery haul in Iceland. These I got from the Dollar Tree, so that way I can take them when I'm on my excursions. With my fruit in them, and when I'm done I can just toss these. They were only $1.25. And then here's my za'atar that I'm going to use to make some dressing with, and my tahini, and I have my hand blender. I have a hand chopper. I didn't get any salad. I probably will still go out to eat for dinner for salad, and I'll just have my homemade dressing to use for that. But yeah, $97 on all of this. And the water. Oh, and I bought an international adapter. I had one, but I was like, I'm probably need another one. So I did buy another one. It was like $7. So it would have been like $90 on just food alone if I didn't buy that adapter. All right, so let's talk about my journey so far to get to Iceland. So yesterday I left Atlanta and flew to Boston, and my flight was at nighttime because I didn't want to hang out in Boston. I've been in Boston before, so I just wanted to get in enough time to sleep at my hotel, relax, wind down, and then the next morning, which is today, I got up and took the airport shuttle back to the airport and got on my flight. I flew with Iceland Air, and the flight was about 5 hours. The flight was fine. I didn't have any issues. The Wi-Fi wasn't working, and so I couldn't get connected to the Wi-Fi, but I had a book and I was listening to music, and the flight actually, it went by really fast. It didn't feel like it took 5 hours, but it went by really fast. The only thing I'll say is just that it's super, super dark. Like, once it got dark, you can't see anything. Like, when you're flying in America, it may be dark, but you could look down and see like lights and things sometimes if there's no cloud cover. But flying over the ocean in the dark, it felt like that show Manifest, where I was gonna land and it was gonna be 5 years later. Like, that's how dark it was, and you only start to see the light within the last like 2 minutes before landing in Iceland. So I get to Iceland. The customs was a breeze. Like, we were the last flight to land, so there was nobody there but the people on the plane. And I mean, customs was a breeze. The guy asked me, like, you know, how long you staying, where you staying at, and stamped my passport, sent me on my way. And then I got my bag, and I didn't have to put it through a screening for them to check it again at customs. You get your bag and you go if you don't have anything to declare, which I didn't. So I did that, and I had already paid for my transportation to Reykjavik because the airport is about an hour away from like downtown Reykjavik. So I had booked a bus called Flybus, and that was like $35. So I booked that, and that bus ride was about an hour, and it took me to a bus stop 1, which is pretty much right in front of my hotel. And, you know, I had to walk maybe like 2 blocks to my hotel. So it was a smooth process, and it's been a good breeze so far. If you book Flybus, the bus doesn't ask you for a arrival time. They check flights and they depart from the airport 40 to 45 minutes after flights land. So with us being the last flight, they were out there waiting. There were several buses, because there's different buses, I guess, to take you different parts of Iceland. And you get on the bus that they direct you to. And then from there, I had to get on another bus. They stop you at a bus terminal. I had to get on another smaller bus that takes you around to inner city Iceland. But they can't drop people off at their hotels directly. I think it's because there's like, they want to keep the traffic flow down. So they don't have the buses going to everybody's bus stop. They just stop you at different bus stop numbers. And this is also the same place that I'll be meeting up with my tour guides. So I will be meeting them in the morning at bus stop 1. And that's also where I'll meet my bus transportation to take me back to the airport when it's time to go. The weather here, it is cold. It's like 23 degrees. The bus operator told us that there's going to be a storm coming in about an hour or two, and that it was going to be really windy and the streets would get really icy. So she said your excursions may be canceled in the morning, or they may be moving them. So I'm gonna wake up and hopefully, you know, I'm able to go and do my excursion for tomorrow, but we'll see with the weather. But it's not been too bad. I haven't really felt cold, and then maybe because of how I dress. So I have on a wool shirt here, and then I have on a thermal. And so I had 2 shirts on. I had on my coat, which is a Columbia. It is waterproof, windproof. And I had my hat. I had on a net gaiter, and I had gloves, and I had on 2 pairs of socks. I had on compression socks, which I always wear on flights. And then I had on wool socks, and then I had on my boots, which are also Columbia. They are waterproof and windproof, I think. I know they're waterproof for sure. And then I had on 2 pairs of pants. So I had on some waterproof leggings on top of a pair of thermals. So I've been feeling really warm. I didn't wear my waterproof like shell pants. I'm gonna wear those starting tomorrow. I feel like that might have been too much for the plane, but I've been feeling warm. I haven't really felt cold. The only thing that's been cold to me is really my hands, and that's just because I've been having to need my phone out, things like that, but it hasn't been terrible here, and I came prepared. And that's one thing I will say. If you come to Iceland, if you don't have a real winter coat, get a real winter coat. Don't come here with a coat from like Old Navy or Fashion Nova. That's not gonna work. Get a Columbia, a North Face, Canada Goose, whatever. Just get something that is waterproof and windproof for this weather, because it is cold, especially if you live, you know, in the South. Honestly, it was colder in Boston yesterday than it was in Iceland yesterday. But yeah, so I made sure I got me a real coat, because my coat is like from Old Navy. So it's good enough for Atlanta. It's not good enough for here. And it was an investment. It wasn't expensive. It was probably no more than $150. And I got it on Black Friday, so I got it on a sale. Same for my boots. I think my boots were around $75. They're usually like $100. So, you know, it's an investment. I'll have them forever. So yeah, but it's been good. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad to have made it. I'm not really tired. I think it's the time difference. So Iceland is 5 hours ahead of Atlanta. So, you know, it's still early on the East Coast at home, and it is getting pretty late here. It's like after midnight, but I'm not tired. But I am going to try to go ahead and get some sleep, because I do have to get up. And right now in Iceland, they are in the middle of their like low light season, I guess you would call it, where there's only 4 hours of sunlight per day. So the sun will rise around 11:30 and set at 3:30. So that's going to be a change, because, you know, usually when I'm waking up, it's either sunlight or it's about to be sunlight. But, you know, it's not going to be sunlight until almost noon here in Iceland. So that's going to be a change for me for these next few days. But it's cool. I'm excited about it. But yeah, I just wanted to come and check in and show y'all my groceries. I'm on my raw vegan journey, even while traveling. And we'll see how it goes tomorrow with dinner. But for lunch and for breakfast, I'm covered. Hopefully I can get some hot water downstairs at the breakfast so I can do my lemon water. But yeah, I'm excited, and I'll talk to y'all later. Trail that you can hike. It's about 538 steps up to the top. And you can feel it. running for their life. I'm staying up here at a comfortable distance. But it's pretty out here though. Definitely worth it. Never thought I would see a black sand beach like this. Iceland. So worth it. Glacier right beyond this mountain right here where this person is walking that you can see in the distance, but it's really windy and it's really slippery. If you don't have crampons or your shoes, you may not make it. So I'm kind of just hanging back because it's so windy and I don't want to risk falling.
It's these three words in white: Eya Fiatla Yokut. And I can't hear you with the wind, otherwise I would say louder. Eya Fiatla Yokut. Very good. So this name, this is one word, but actually this is a combination of three words. Eya means island, Fiatla means mountains, and Yokut is glacier. The reason is we have a small archipelago of islands just south of here called Vestmannaeyjar that we cannot see right now because of the clouds that are in the ocean, but maybe later when we go to Sederlandsfoss, maybe we'll see it there. They are quite close to that part. But basically, if you go to the island, the first thing you see when you look at mainland is this big black mountain with the white cap of the glacier on top. So it's the mountains that they see from the island. That's the name of the glacier that gave itself the name to the volcano when it erupted. It could be a lot more simple, but they decided to. Icelandic is a very old language, and when they come up with new words, they don't just adapt the foreign word to a new word. Like computer is a very good example because every other language has its own way to say computer, but they all come from computer. In Icelandic, computer is tolva, which means it's a combination of two words, counting and machine, and they just shrank it together. That tolva is computer. So they created their own new word for it. And yeah, Icelandic is like the younger brother of Old Norwegian, and Old Norwegian is the language the Viking people would speak. The brass there, and just someone decided to put one, and then tourists decided it was fun, and they started putting more and more.
So I'm back in my room. I just got some dinner. I'll show you that in a second. It's just a salad. I went to this place called Mama Reykjavik. It's a vegan, plant-based restaurant. And so I went there and grabbed a salad, and I'm going to eat that. But I just want to come in and tell y'all about the rest of the day. So after we left the second waterfall, we did head back to town. That ride took about an hour and a half and maybe 2 hours, honestly. And it was an okay ride. The music was horrible. The music, like if you live in this area with no sunlight, but maybe only 4 hours a day, and then the music that the driver was playing, yeah, that would be very sad and depressed all the time. And the door on the bus or the van wouldn't close all the way. So after a while, it just was cold because the door wouldn't close. So I'm glad that I was more towards the back and not the front, because I would have been like freezing. Tonight, I'm going to see the Northern Lights. I'm praying that I get to see them. That was really the main reason I wanted to come here, was to see the Northern Lights. There is a bit of cloud cover, but my tour operator did reach out and said that they have found somewhere where hopefully the clouds will not be a factor. So I have to leave for that around 8:30 to go to the bus stop and be able to get on my tour. So I'm excited about that. I hope I get to see them. And other than that, I'll be coming back here to my room. And then tomorrow I have the Blue Lagoon. And I think it's called the Golden Circle. I get to see like a volcano crater. and that's a full day tour as well. So I'm hoping I get to get some good sleep tonight. I did take a few cat naps today on the bus ride, so that did help because I was really sleepy. I didn't get any sleep last night at all. Like, I tried to, and it was time to get up, and I was still late getting on the bus this morning for my tour this morning. So I hope I can get some good sleep tonight and just be well rested for tomorrow. But yeah, that's really the plan, and I will show y'all this food. I got a Mexican salad. It has vegan cashew sour cream, some chipotle dressing, and it's just a regular salad other than that. So let me flip this over and show y'all. All right, so this is the salad from Mama Reykjavik, and it has cherry tomatoes, avocado, greens, tomatoes, some nacho chips that I'm not gonna eat. And here is the dressings that they gave me, the vegan cashew sour cream and some chipotle dressing. This salad was $24. Everything here in Iceland is expensive because it is an island, so everything is imported. So everything is expensive, but this is my dinner. I ate my bananas today for breakfast / lunch, and I still have my grapes and oranges that I'm gonna eat tonight, either when I get back to the room or on the tour as we head out, because I'm sure it's gonna be a long drive just to get to where we need to go to try to see the Northern Lights. But yeah, this is my dinner. I'm out here at the Blue Lagoon. It's like 35 degrees out, but the water is like 100 degrees, so that definitely helps. It feels so good, so relaxing. It was some drama getting here today, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, this is amazing.
This is basically a calendar. Now, give me a guess. How old do you think the bottom layer is? 8,000. Million. So we have 8,000, a million. Anybody else? You brought wood and cameras with you and made a roof, and then you lived in luxury. If you were a peasant, you got your ass wet in a tent down on that field over there. This is called a food, and then our song really is. Yeah, it actually used to be in both Old and Middle English. But, well, the theory I've heard, and I actually believe it, is that when they made the printing press, they couldn't be bothered making doing the wiggly bit. And with the tea, we kept it. Now it means a store, like a supermarket. And as such, they have lived in almost all the languages actually. In English, it's a food, like a field food. Good.
I'm out here on a tour, and I'm standing between two continental tectonic plates. So to the left is North America, to the right is Eurasia. Even though it's snowing, it's not really that cold. Like, it's not bad. It's not Arctic cold like I thought it would be, which is cool. But yeah, I'm out here. geyser. Standing here at the geyser waiting for it to erupt again. It just erupted, but it erupts pretty frequently. So we'll see. There it is. It just erupted again. Another day, another waterfall.
Mr. Lava Lava, and I'm one of the founders. Well, the founder is my wife. She's now home with her boys. I think just eating some Christmas dinner. We have 3 boys, 17, 15, and a 6-year-old. And we started Lava Show 6 years ago. So you can imagine how the last 6 years have been. Absolutely crazy. A lot of work, not a lot of sleep, but a lot of fun. So I just want to tell you how we got this crazy idea. And it actually came on top of a glacier. Do you remember an eruption here in Iceland in 2010 called Eyjafjallajökull? Yes. Yeah, did you know it closed all airports in Europe? Yes. Except one, Keflavik Airport, Iceland. The ash that the eruption produced just blew east over Europe. We could still fly to the west. But 1 month prior to that, we had another eruption in Iceland, and that was on a mountain ridge between Eyjafjallajökull and Mýrdalsjökull, a big glacier on the south coast. And that mountain ridge is called Fimmvörðuháls. Yeah, I know, these Icelandic words pretty easy, aren't they? Anyone been practicing Icelandic? Today he's cooking it. He wears this beautiful suit. He designed it himself. No. It's just protection from the heat. And it actually has a gold film on the front. That's because gold reflects heat radiation the best. It's the same the astronauts' helmets have. And the big question, Mario, is the lava ready? Perfect. Thank you. Let's clap for Mario. So I'm going to start the video now. So now it goes over the ice. You can see some bubbles, these mini explosions, these thin. And have you heard about tears? It's really thin strings of lava. They form in nature when lava flows over an edge, and the wind is able to blow it into these really thin strings. We call it Nornahaur in Icelandic, or witch's hair.
guys. It's cold and it's snowing, but I'm making it. I am making it. So pretty. Look how they have the tree decorated. Hey everyone, so I'm back with another update on my Iceland trip. I am currently sitting at the airport at my gate waiting to get on my plane back to Boston, so hopefully you can hear me okay. I am sitting around some other people who are talking, so hopefully you all can hear this. But the rest of my trip in Iceland was really good. I definitely enjoyed myself. I will say that it wasn't as cold as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like freezing, like Arctic cold, you know, in the negatives. But it was around 32, 35. The first day I was here was about 40 something degrees. So not as cold as I thought it would be, but I was definitely prepared as far as with my clothes and my accessories like my hat, my gaiter, you know, things like that. So I'm definitely happy about that. I definitely enjoyed the excursions that I went on. I feel like I learned a lot about Iceland and just seeing some of the natural sights, which those are things that I'm into when I travel, seeing natural things and learning the history of the city. So yesterday on Christmas, I did a city walk tour and walked around the city of Reykjavik because I haven't really done anything in Reykjavik the whole time I've been here. So I did that. That tour was about an hour and a half, and it was a good tour. I got to see the main church that's here and also the Rainbow Crosswalk or Rainbow Street now, and just some other sites. I will say that the weather was not horrible, but it was just snowing a lot and kind of windy, especially when we first started. The wind was it was very, very windy when we first started the tour, but I was a trooper. I made it. It wasn't bad as far as like being out there in the cold, because I was well prepared with what I was wearing, and I learned a lot of good information. So I definitely enjoyed that tour. I also went to the lava show. The lava show was really good. I enjoyed just learning more about lava. I didn't really know much about lava beforehand, so I thought that was a good tour too, and just a good way to like kill time basically, because there was a lot of things closed yesterday due to it being a holiday. But those two things were still open, so I was happy about that. I will say that I didn't get to see the Northern Lights, so I'm kind of sad about that because that was one of the main reasons I wanted to come to Iceland, was to see the Northern Lights. I've always dreamed about seeing those, and it didn't happen. Seeing the Northern Lights is a natural occurrence, and there's no way to track it. Like you could track rain or you could track a hurricane. You kind of just have to be in the right place at the right time with the right conditions. I hope that I will see them at some point one day in the future. But yeah, I do have an Alaskan cruise planned in the summer, but I don't think there's any like aurora activity really during the summer months. This time of year is the best time to really try to see the Northern Lights, but unfortunately it didn't happen for me. But you know, that's okay. I still had a great time overall. I did want to talk about the little slight drama that occurred trying to get to the Blue Lagoon. So it was probably my fault because for one, I overslept, and the jet lag. This is my first time really flying like to somewhere that is their time zone is ahead of the Eastern time zone in the United States. So the jet lag has really been bad for me. Like I've been on United States time the whole time I've pretty much been here. And so for one, I overslept, but it was because I didn't have my alarm set correctly. had my alarm set from the night before to go to the Northern Lights tour. And while I was setting it, I was like, okay, well, let me set my morning alarm for the next day to get up for my excursion. And I set it for PM instead of AM. And so that is what caused me to oversleep, because I didn't have the alarm set correctly. And I was tired just from the jet lag. And so I overslept. I was supposed to have been at the bus stop to meet up with my tour guide around like 7 in the morning. I didn't even wake up until like 8. And my phone was on Do Not Disturb. So they called me a few times. They texted me, they emailed me, and I did not hear it. So once I got up, I was able to call them. They was like, hey, you know, you can still meet up with us at the tour. We're going to the Blue Lagoon first, but you just have to get your way to the Blue Lagoon. So I did do that. I had to catch a taxi. The taxi was about $140 USD, which is pretty expensive, but from the city center in Reykjavik to the Blue Lagoon, it's about a 45-minute drive. So kind of to be expected. The Blue Lagoon is really close to the airport, so the taxi was actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be. I had asked some people in the hotel, you know, what they thought it would be, and they said around 200. So I feel like I got off pretty good with the 140. But when I went outside of my hotel, there's a taxi stand right there. So I just asked the first taxi, you know, about how much it would be, and I was talking to the taxi driver. He told me, and I was just like, okay. So I got in. Now this taxi driver was the second driver in line. I didn't go to the first driver in line. I didn't know that there was like an order to how they do things here in Iceland. I thought you could just, you know, I mean, it wasn't any rhyme or reason on my part either. So I just went over to the first one. It was closer, so he was the closest one to me basically, and I just went to that one. And so I got in the car, and we were about to pull off, and the taxi driver in the first car gets out of his car and comes to talk to the taxi driver in the car that I was in, and he was like upset, like, no, you got to get out this car and get in my car. And I was asking my taxi driver, I'm like, you know, do I have to do that? You know, my bad, I didn't know. And he was like, you don't have to. And I was just like, okay, well, I'll just go, you know, with you since I'm already in here. We already talked about the price, you know, all of the above. And so he was like, okay. And the other taxi driver in the first car was mad, but, you know, it was just kind of like, it is what it is. I didn't know, you know, so that was my fault. So it was just a little dust up, nothing too crazy. But yeah, I, you know, got to the Blue Lagoon okay, and met up with the rest of my tour. And I enjoyed that tour, you know, as well. All the tours, I will say, are really long. When you do them here, they're typically like 10 hours or more. And because of the daylight here, you're gone from, it's dark. When you leave, it's dark when you come back. Another thing I'll say is that Icelanders are very much so on time, is what I've noticed. Like, when they tell you a time to be at your meeting spot or your bus stop, you need to be there at that time, because they are on time with their pickups, and it's pretty exact. And so if you're not there, you know, they will call you, they will try to reach out to you, but you will get left. Like, there's no lateness here. They're on time and they're on point, which I appreciate, because I like to be on time too. And, you know, another reason why I decided to go ahead and just go to my tour and take that L as far as having to pay for the taxi is because, for one, I wanted to go to the Blue Lagoon, and two, I didn't want to be bored at my hotel, so I didn't have anything else planned. And you can't really book things on the spot. You kind of have to book them in advance as far as excursions. So I didn't want to just be sitting at my hotel bored. So that was another reason I was like, let me just go ahead and get the taxi over to the Blue Lagoon, and that way I can meet up with the rest of my group and enjoy the rest of my day and not, you know, just be sitting around the hotel all day. It worked out, and, you know, I was happy about that. I will say that Iceland is very expensive, so if you do decide to come here, make sure you have your coin up because it is expensive as far as like the food. I mean, I showed y'all that salad that was like $24. I showed y'all the little bit of groceries that I got that ended up being $100. So it is a very expensive place, and they have to import a lot of things. So, you know, it's to be it's to be expected because of, you know, where they're located. I would just say plan ahead. Like, it's not hard getting around Iceland, and it's not hard to plan, to get from the airport and get to the city center of Reykjavik. But just make sure you're planning and booking ahead and looking at those time frames of, like, when you're supposed to get picked up and those types of things. I would say also that I enjoy that everybody here is, really nice pretty much. Like, I haven't ran into any issues. All the tour guides have been nice. They've been helpful. I appreciate that, they all are bilingual as far as they speak English, they speak Icelandic. So that definitely helps as well. And even just being around the city, most things are in English and in Icelandic. So that helps as a tourist because Icelandic is not a language that a lot of people know. I definitely enjoyed and appreciated that. I would definitely come back to Iceland. I would say that I would probably want to experience it in the summertime just to see what it looks like, as far as those natural landscapes. You can't really see it because it's just so much snow on the ground and ice on the ground. So you can't really see like what certain things look like. So yeah, I would definitely say I would come back, but it would definitely be a summertime just to see what that experience is like in the summertime versus the winter, since I've already, been here and experienced that. As far as food, the food situation was a little tough again. I did eat vegan, but I ended up eating some cooked vegan food just because the food here is expensive, so you can go and try to buy all the fixings for a salad and it's gonna be like, what, $50? Where I went to Loving Hut. They have a Loving Hut here, and I went there and got some food, and I got like an appetizer and a main course, and it was like $25. And then I bought 2 meals that same day because with Christmas being yesterday, a lot of restaurants were closed. So I prepared myself and got my dinner for Christmas on Christmas Eve and just put it in my mini fridge when I got back to my room. So I did eat some cooked vegan food, but at least it was vegan. I didn't go back to eating any type of meat. I had my produce, so I was still eating raw for, breakfast and lunch, and then just dinner I was eating some cooked vegan food, which, it is what it is. At least it was vegan. It wasn't lamb, which Iceland is known for. It wasn't lamb. It wasn't the lamb hot dogs. That's like the most famous thing to eat here. So I will say, I'm proud of myself for that, but, I'm ready to get back home and get back to my eating raw, and I'm not traveling anymore until maybe March, and even then I'm just going to Houston to visit family. But yeah, I really enjoyed Iceland. It was a great time, and I am ready to get back home though. I'm missing home, and I'm missing just some warmer weather overall. But again, the cold, it wasn't terrible as I thought it was gonna be. I will just go ahead and wrap it up here because now I feel like I'm starting to ramble. And I'll talk to y'all later.